Hi guys, okay, I usually don't do this. I had made a video prior to this and it was about 20 minutes long and I was going to upload it, but you know, I was fleshing it out and I wanted to pick out the pieces that were most tied into what I'm really trying to say here. Just to give a short recap, again, I'm saying again in my head, because I did this video already, but I was watching The Real, the talk show with Adrienne Bailon and Tamara Mori, Lonnie, Jeannie, and Tamar. And that's my little guilty YouTube pleasure or whatever. And I was watching a video when they had did a segment where the biggest fan of one of the hosts writes into the show and basically expresses some type of not it's not a need, it's just like, oh, shout out to you, like you're my favorite because this, that, and the third, like you helped me get through the week, blah blah blah. And in turn, that favorite host will go and do something for that family or for that person that reached out. So this single father, African American father, two daughters. I don't know their ages. They looked about like 7 and 5-ish. And he had wrote into the show about Jeannie, saying that he watches The Real to gain some insight on how to deal with his daughters, which I thought was pretty awesome because he doesn't have that tangible resource of having a wife or the mother of his children there to be a guide in how to raise his daughters. And I think it's very admirable for him to somehow subconsciously recognize that we can't take each other's roles as men and as women. A woman cannot teach a man to be a man, and a man can't teach a woman how to be a woman. And he made a comment saying that, you know, he strives to be the best father that he could be. One, because it is very typical or stereotypical for African American men to be labeled as deadbeat dads, or those who have those Instagram children. You know, they're like pictures of them everywhere, but they're invisible in real life, and or invisible with them, or they're never with their children in actuality. And it's too many fathers, too many minority dads who are doing what they have to do, especially with daughters. And he said that he kind of wanted to beat the stereotype in a way, and also he didn't want his daughters to grow up and look for love in the wrong places. And I'm going to say a few things on that very quickly. When I came up with the idea to do a blog 2 years ago, and I started my blog, Dorian Gray, and you know, I decided that I was going to be committed to it. One thing that I promised myself is that I was going to be transparent. And for those who follow my blog, you know that I have shared in parts or vague details. That was kind of oxymoron. Anyway, my suicide story that I shared on my 20th birthday, and you know, different parts about, you know, major relationships that have had an effect on me, and blah 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 blah. And you know, I try to be as transparent as I can while being respectful to the identities of the people that I am speaking about in my blog. And I am I hate the word victim, but I have been affected by uh, molestation for a very, very long period of my life, most of my young adult life, in increments, have been affected by that, and that's something that I'm okay with, and that's something that, well, not okay, I didn't mean it like that, but like, it's something that I attach on to as part of my testimony. And you know, there's a lot of buzz, especially, and I'm speaking specifically to minority communities. Young women and even older women may say, oh, I've dealt without a father for so long, so it's okay. I really don't need a father, or I don't need that male figure. I don't need a male to validate me at this point in my adult life or my young adult life. And I feel like that's a huge misconception. And you will always seek validation from a parent or a parental figure. You know, you may not grow up respecting your parent or what have you, to each his own. However, you're always going to look for that stamp of approval by your parent, no matter what stage or what level your relationship is at with them. And speaking from a personal standpoint, oh, also another misconception before I forget and go on to my last thing, you know, there's a lot of young women who have not been able to articulate the fact that they may have had their father in the house. He may have been or still is a financial benefactor in their life, or he provides a roof over their heads, or what have you, does basic taking care of, if you want to say that. But they have always felt that they have not had the presence of a father. And I'm a strong believer that there's a difference between being a father and being a dad. And definitely, I believe that it's possible for you to have had interactions with your father frequently and feel as though you do not have a father, whatever reason that may be. Maybe he goes away all the time. Maybe you don't. He has abused you in some way, and has been an acting game for you. Whatever it is, there is a great possibility for you to have had the experience of a father without having the experience of a dad. Having said this, going back to what the father on the reel had said about he didn't want his daughter looking for love in the wrong places, I could definitely say, and I'm not blaming my circumstances or my past on my behavior in totality. However, you know, it definitely has affected how I look at men in general, how I specifically look at African American men, my views on having a daughter of my own, different things like that has shaped how I act in relationships, and what I'm currently struggling with now and have been struggling with for a while. And I'm giving myself credit, I've gotten better, but I think this rings true for so many individuals. When you enter relationships and you are not healed from your past, or you are not healed to a point where you are able to function with another human being, and it be healthy, you put yourself in a dangerous position. And what happens with me, and I'm speaking for me, you know, I've had a notorious thing for, I'll get out of a relationship and go into the next relationship, not for the comfort of being in a relationship. I've never believed that it was because I felt that I I needed to be with someone at all times. That wasn't more of a reason as it was me continuously searching for the void that I had to fill. And and I'm definitely not here to preach. I didn't come with a sermon, but it is imperative that you recognize those voids in your life that are God shaped, for lack of a better term, that only God can fill that void. It can only be a spiritual encounter for you to feel at peace with what is missing in your life. And it's very common for females, especially with daddy issues or whatever issues with men in general, trust issues. You get into a relationship, a romantic relationship, and you think boyfriend is daddy, and then you look for all of this extra validation that you feel that should have been there, and you put all this pressure on one person. It's not fair to either of you because you're not making any strides forward, arguing about who's not being open with who, and who's putting forth more affection than the other, blah blah blah. It's just a cause for drama, and it's a cause for unhappiness. And once you reach the understanding that, one, you must love yourself first. One, you must love, and this, I'm speaking from my opinion, coming from a Christian perspective. Once you love God, and God is love, you know how to love yourself, and he can teach you how to love yourself, and only then can you begin to start to learn to love another individual in that way. And I said all this to say, just wrapping up, it's, aside from, this particular topic, we can often put our eggs in one basket in more ways than one. And we can take all of our inhibitions and insecurities, and we can put them all towards our schoolwork, or we can put them all towards our job, or we can put them all towards exercise or binge eating or what have you. There's so many different things that we can exert or overexert energy into, but it's important that we take the time to know ourselves, to respect the God in us, to hear a still voice, to know that maybe we shouldn't move forward with this, or maybe we should think before we move in this direction, what have you. First point, last point, you do not have to let your past situation dictate how you will operate in the future. Who you were yesterday does not have to dictate who you are today or tomorrow. And I say you don't have to, because we live in a world of free will. We decide to wake up and eat breakfast in the morning. We decide to put on the clothes that we put on. We decide to wear makeup. We decide to go play ball with our friends, blah, blah, blah. We make the conscious decision to be a better person when we wake up in the morning. And I felt led to share this video, and just get your insight as well, on two things: your thoughts on what I talked about in this video, and then anything else, because I'm reconstructing my vlog page on my blog at doriangray.weebly.com, and I'll be revamping everything. So if you have any suggestions of anything you want me to talk about in the future, that'll be cool. Like, comment, share, let me know what you think.